Welcome to Board Gamers Anonymous, the podcast where everyone is welcome at the table, but of course, no one knows whose turn it is. This is Chris.
And this is Chris.
And this is episode 530, the top 10 games on everyone's shelf, according to BGG, with our good friends from Board Games for the Better. Hey friends,
hello.
Welcome back. We're so glad that you joined us. And again, we're so lucky to have Chris here with us this week while Anthony's visiting some family. Chris, so good to have you here. Good to have you back. Obviously, the last episode went really well. They took all those illicit notices off of it. It wasn't as controversial as everyone says it was. Don't listen to what people tell you.
Is everyone flicking penguins now?
Yes, everyone's flicking penguins. Everyone's just, there's things going left and right. People are throwing crazy stuff, bouncing off walls. I mean, technically, any game could be a dexterity game if you try hard enough.
I want to see somebody argue that like card flicking is going to be a dexterity game.
It's true. I mean, back when I was a kid, we used to do card flicking with baseball cards.
Yeah, you like try to hit like a target or something.
You have to
perfect dexterity game. The first one.
Yeah.
Oh, marbles.
Yeah, you would take the baseball card and lean it up against a wall, and then try to throw cards to like knock it down.
To knock it down. Yeah.
Or you would flip. Flipping was a thing too, where you had a card down and you try to flip from high up and land the card perfectly, either face up or face down to collect the cards. And this was like early childhood gambling kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Which, again, little did we know how valuable those baseball cards were, that we should not be using them in a dexterity game to win cards.
I remember there were games like Pogs and Crazy Bones.
Yes,
that was like all about like children gambling, or it's just like you're just betting these little like things and trying to like win other people's.
Yes.
I was like looking back now, I was like that very much was just children gambling.
Yeah, when I was a little kid, they used to do bottle caps. Used to melt like crayons and little crystals inside of a bottle cap. Which again, if you could go back, like you said, marbles. Right, marbles.
Mm-hmm. Marbles. Yeah. That's the original children betting game. It was just it was that neighbor of yours had that cat eye marble that you wanted so badly, and you would sit there and you would try to win that from him.
Do you know? We talked about this on an earlier episode. Recently, it was released that. Do you know Dice Throne, the board game?
Yes. Yeah.
They're coming out at Gen Con with a POG version of that.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah. I was like, yes, cool. Someone is turning Pogs into a modern board game. That sounds awesome.
I'm 100% telling you that's going to end badly at a convention. I'm just saying it now, because...
Oh, yeah.
Any game that we've ever played at a convention that was a dexterity game, and usually those are with, like, rubber bands where things are flying, like, either you're going to hit somebody or lose the piece forever. There's no in-between. Unless you're playing a board game night, and then it's anytime a piece falls off the table, you know, if you're in like some sort of cafe or restaurant, it's like the mad dash to try to figure out where it went amongst all the tables, not to mention the carpeted floor, which is meant to hide everything. And now, like, a lot of pieces have been lost over the years. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah, a lot of ways to play games, a lot of ways since we were way back kids. My recommendation, kids, don't try this at home. You don't want to get involved in this kind of stuff.
My recommendation is kids try all of this.
No! we have to be good role models, Chris. You can't teach the kids all the little gambling tricks that we got away with.
Listen, we played gambling games when we were kids, and look how we turned out.
Oh, no, that's not good at all. So with that said, we're going to be talking about, for our Voice of the Gamers this week, Chris is going to help us with the top 10 games that everyone owns on their shelf. So these are the games that, according to BGG, everyone has a copy of them, or at least the people that use BGG.
Yeah, these are like the most owned games that they've got listed here.
Yes. So we're going to go through that list. I think you're going to be really interested. Chris was saying that you will not believe... What number was that, Chris?
I said you won't believe number 7.
You won't believe number 7. It's going to blow your mind. So definitely stick around for that feature, because I think it's interesting to know what everyone has on their shelves out there. I think it says something about the industry. I mean, these are hobby board games, of course, but what's not on there might surprise you. So that'll be for our feature review. But before I get into that, Anthony's obviously out. He'll be back here next week. So he appreciates all your well wishes, good thoughts, prayers, and everything of that nature. And he'll be popping up this episode, I think, probably next week. So by the time you hear this, Anthony will be back. And really glad to have you all here. So, Chris, a little news. I don't know if you know this, but there has been a major acquisition.
I do know this.
Tabletop Tycoon, the publisher of Everdell, has recently acquired several top board games from the industry from CMON. So they purchased or now own the rights to Blood Rage, Rising Sun, Ankh, Gods of Egypt, Arcadia Quest, and Starcadia Quest.
Yeah. I am a huge fan of the Eric Lang trilogy. Mm-hmm. So when I saw that they bought it, the first thought in my mind was, are these going to get expanded on?
Yes.
Because I feel like things like Blood Rage and Rising Sun hasn't been touched in a while. And I feel like a little expansion to kind of freshen things up might be pretty nice.
Yeah.
Ankh, I feel like fairly recent still. That's doing just fine. I think out of all of them, it's probably been my favorite one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Starcadia and Arcadia Quest, not really my kind of thing,
sure.
But I know people really like that lighter dungeon building game.
Yeah. These are all Eric Lang games. It's hard to pick a favorite. I do love Arcadia Quest. Anthony recently gave me his copy of Starcadia Quest, and I'm still trying to track down some of the Kickstarter exclusive figures here. Ankh was okay. I like, obvious. I mean, it's fine. Like, I have Kemet, and Kemet scratches that same Egyptian itch.
You know, it's funny for me because I got Ankh.
Okay.
Because I really liked the Egyptian theme.
Yeah.
I liked everything about it. I liked how out of the 3 games in that trilogy, it was the best at 2 players.
Okay.
And then after I got that game, my brother-in-law gifted us Kemet.
Okay.
So we had one, we played it was great, and then we got Kemet right afterwards. And so I feel like Ankh, I enjoyed it. I played it first, enjoyed it first, and it kind of just stuck with me more.
Okay. So you played Kemet too. Yeah. And you liked Ankh better.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I think it's more that the timing structure where you get to the end of the action tracks, you move the time track forward, and so you're planning for these combats that are coming up, or
sure.
Divvying up the map in different ways. The different scenarios are pretty nice. I didn't like the merging very, very much,
sure.
But I know now a lot of people have got homebrew rules to make sure that it gets balanced out, or you just don't play with it and player elimination, it just kind of stays as is. But I feel like most of the games I play are at 2 players, and Ankh at 2 just works really well.
Kemet has a recent expansion that was on Kickstarter that we already backed, and I think Anthony got a copy of it. Should be somewhere in transit. Well, yeah,
it was part of that.
Well,
the Cthulhu one was in there.
Yeah, but the new one actually lets you control the gods as more active creatures on the board, like Ankh. Basically, it's a copy of what Ankh does. So, so again, once that expansion hits the shore, I think you'll see it's almost identical in a lot of ways. But I think Blood Rage has always been my favorite. It's got more of that Euro kind of, you're building your own particular strategy up, which is kind of fun. Mm-hmm. And then obviously someone goes to Loki strategy, and then you panic, and then you have to try to stop them because they're just killing off their troops, and you're just oh no, I was trying to win, but somehow I'm losing by winning.
So I feel like one thing I do like about Blood Rage was the small pool of cards you drop from. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing I hear about Inish that people really like, where it's not a ton of cards you need to remember. It's a very small pool, so it's easier for you to strategize after repeat plays. I liked that a lot about Blood Rage. I also really like that it kind of solves the issue with area control games or war fighting games in general, where it's as soon as you start to lose some of your units, it's kind of hard to fight against that snowball coming at you, because they're always gonna have the numbers advantage. But Blood Rage does a really good job of like, well, lost a bunch of units. Well, like you said, the Loki strategy, right?
Yeah.
Like there are ways to benefit from it,
Yeah.
or it's so easy to get all of your units back out again.
It's
like
true.
It takes away some flexibility, but you can just kind of rally your guys back in again.
Yeah, and I actually like Rising Sun too. I know Anthony's not a fan of it. Have you played it, Chris?
That's the only one I haven't played yet.
It's good.
I know it's a lot about negotiation compared to the other two.
You play each round. You play on a 2-player team, and you can switch team members up as the game goes on, or you could stick with your team member. Mm-hmm. And then each of you picks an action that round, but you don't know what each one picks. Obviously, you should be in line with each other, but there's also betrayal action you could take. So you could actually attack your partner,
your teammate.
Yeah, but it's really interesting. It's kind of in between Blood Rage, like because you're choosing actions and you're building up a certain kind of profile of abilities, but it's not as, and it has the area control thing like every Eric Lang game of that ilk, but it's not Kemet. Kemet is obviously a whole extra level. So like Rising Sun, I think kind of gets left out of the mix. But I think I haven't met anyone who loves Rising Sun more than Blood Rage or Kemet or Ankh.
Yeah,
but
it always seems like the awkward middle child.
It does. It's a lot. You do need a lot of players because you do need those partners for that. So Tabletop Tycoon, they obviously do a very good job, and Dan Yarrington, the CEO there. So we have a long history with him, a lot of stories with that, and he's looking to reissuing. So they'll be coming back out, remastering, extending the lines in the future. So this also, I guess, kind of means CMON is like shedding really, valuable titles to kind of try to keep their heads above water.
So I'm curious if that's what it is, or if they're just looking to have like less liability, because the less games they'll have to produce, the less money they'll have to have like cash on hand to kind of keep restocking these things. So maybe they're figuring make a good amount of cash, selling out these games that have been really popular, but at the same time we don't have to just like kind of restock these really expensive games.
Yeah, I mean the only thing that their only really other big cash cow, like the biggest cash cow, is the Zombicide series.
The Marvel United. I feel like that's been their biggest one. Marvel United is in every Walmart. Like as popular as Ankh and Blood Rage and all, like those are all insanely popular, but they have a Marvel United in every Barnes and Noble, every Walmart, every Target. Like that's got to be their biggest.
But I think they split that with Spin Master, because I don't think that's a pure production of their own. Spin Master has become a very big company, so I think whatever the division of cash on that,
even if it's split, that's true.
It's very good. So that's a big shift. Obviously, tariffs are still enacted here in the U.S. and around the world. There's a lot of changes. It's moving constantly. It was 145. The U.S. has dropped it to 30. There's been a recent lawsuit and a case that looks like it might drop completely, but then again, we don't know. So we're following with that because what we're also hearing from a lot of the upcoming conventions, obviously the first big one will be Origins Game Fair. It's their 50th anniversary, and a lot of publishers and designers and even people have opted out of it, especially if they're international, because there's been a lot of international issues with travel and getting stopped at the border. So,
another game that Tabletop Tycoon got recently, Canvas from Road to Infamy.
Yeah, their smaller company picked that up.
Yeah, which I was really surprised because Canvas, I feel like Road to Infamy, that was like their biggest game that they had come out with.
Yeah.
They also just finished fulfilling their like big box for Canvas, so I was actually surprised that that's a game that they would pick up from there.
Yeah, it's a good game. I have I guess I have all of it. I didn't buy the big box.
Oh, we just got ours.
Oh, did you?
It's great.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's great. It fits everything so nicely. It's probably, I would say it is the best big box like version of a game.
Oh no!
Because because it's it's not like, right, it was like, if I had to rate them like from worst, you have like the Scythe Legendary box, where it's just like the first one of its kind, whatever. It's, it started the trend, but it was an empty box in the end of the day.
It was an empty box with a couple of empty boxes inside of it. Yep.
Exactly, yeah. And then, like, those ideas kind of got better and better as time went along. I feel like Road to Infamy really put a lot of care into how this box is designed.
Mm-hmm.
No wasted space. Makes setup and teardown way, way easier. Also makes it a lot easier to use all the expansions and all the cards that come with it. Yeah, I really like the way they did this one. I hope that's something that they, like, now that Tabletop Tycoon has this, they should be putting that out to retail.
Sure.
As like a bundle of like canvas, everything. Here you go.
Gotcha.
So I think that would sell pretty well.
Nice. Yeah, I got the 3, and I was like, I feel like that's enough. But I'll definitely check the big box out, see if combine them all in one spot. So, yeah, a lot of changes happening. And then for the state of BGA, what we're going through and what we're doing, a couple of things. Next week's episode is going to be Anthony's Board Game Club. It's going to be a Terraforming Mars, where we're looking for hot takes, comments, reflections, questions about Terraforming Mars, your games, your plays, your loves, your likes, your hates, your disgusts, with all of the different games in that line, whether it's Terraforming Mars, the dice game, the card game, Ares, or any other variation of that and within the universe. At the RPGs coming out, I mean, the books are out there.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah. They really went pretty far with this. It's been just a huge line of stuff from them. So
and they have I think it's on Steam also.
Oh, it's everywhere.
It's on BGA. Yeah. You can get it as an app on your phone. It's Terraforming Mars is all over the place.
It's all over the place. It's a great game, and definitely, if you haven't tried it, check it out now. We're not expecting you to have 100 plays of this. We just want to get people's feedback. So you could hit us up via email on the website, BoardGamersAnonymous.com. You could hit us on a Discord channel. You could hit us on Patreon.com. Obviously, all the links will be in the podcast notes. We really want to hear from all of you out there, and make this obviously an ongoing thing where we pick a game out and then everyone takes a look at it and we talk more about it. All right, so that's what's happening with BGA, with one little exception. Our little sister club here, Board Game Academics, which Chris and Aaron from Board Games of the Better are on our board. We're doing our 3rd annual conference. Our annual conferences, if you haven't heard us talk about it before, is about all these amazing scholars who are educators, researchers, game players, game designers, and just people out there in different industries and different professions who come together to present their work on tabletop gaming to a large audience to get feedback, insight, conversation, so that they can write up these really good works of scholarship, which then we publish in an academic journal on our website, Board Game Academics. What it allows us to do is to have a really wonderful, fun community time with everybody at the table. So you get to talk to these people about the great work they're using with tabletop gaming. And the reason for it is we want to support more tabletop gaming in more places. Chris, I know that you've had a lot of positive outcomes using tabletop gaming with different populations too.
Oh yeah, so we use games all the time in our game day program. So we bring our big board game library to different communities that don't have access, or they might not have the funds to have a collection or have many activities for the people in their programs. So we help them out. We try to bring games anywhere we can to help these communities in need.
Yeah, definitely. And you really wouldn't know that. And sometimes if you want to bring tabletop gaming to different areas or different populations, or if you're, like, say, you're an occupational therapist and you want to bring dexterity games to your patients, the people at that facility might think that you're crazy. But the academic journal is there to support you, to say there's actual research being done on this that shows the value of this and that it can be properly incorporated into everyone's benefit, and actually which games work best to that nature. So we're really excited about this. This is going to be a big convention. It's happening at the Strong National Museum of Play. So you get to come to a conference that's actually a place where you can have a lot of fun, especially for the family. If you haven't checked it out, you should. And I recommend going on YouTube, because I think as good as the website is, it's so much better to see actual video of all the fun stuff that happens there that you can participate in. So coming to the conference gets you free weekend passes to everything at the museum. There's also a block of rooms that we have a heavy discount rate, and the registration is rather cheap, so that we want to get as many people as possible. If you are having a financial issue with attending, please reach out to us. We want to make sure that everyone can attend as possible. We're adding publishers and designers and students to show off their games. So we'll have a lot more details with the final schedule coming up pretty soon. But again, thank you all for supporting us. Thanks to everyone from the board. And we'll all get to see each other at a really fun time to play tabletop games together. All right, Chris, with that said, let's get on to the episode. So first up, our roll for preview. So Chris, this is a game that I was like, hey, they made a board game about this? It's on Kickstarter, and it is called Tomb Raider, The Crypt of Chronos, an epic Tomb Raider adventure across an action-packed board game. Discover an ancient secret as Lara Croft fights to save time itself. Chris, can you believe this is actually in tabletop form?
I cannot believe it. I really do love that tagline. The discover an ancient secret as Lara Croft fights to save time itself. It's like I said before. It's really like it's something you would find in the back of the video game case.
Yes,
as their hook for
yes.
it. Yeah, I really like that tag,
and I love the front cover here where you have these, I guess, soldiers, invaders, where their shield actually has an hourglass on it.
Yeah, it's very on the nose.
It's very literal what they're trying to tell you here. So obviously we've seen, I think this is in Tomb Raider 2, I think they deal with time. I think that's okay. John Voight was that movie with Angelina Jolie. But here's the crazy thing, Chris. This huge Tomb Raider game is a one-player game. It's a solo game, Chris.
Yeah, I really like that. I feel like when I first heard about this game coming out, I was pretty lukewarm on the idea.
Yeah.
But then seeing that they're doing this as just a solo adventure game, I really kind of like that. It kind of gives that opportunity because there's a lot of games that always have a tacked on solo, but to have a solo game where it's this game is designed for this version.
Yes.
It's not designed to try to shoehorn 3-4 players in it. It's no. It's for you to have set up on your dining room table and just puzzle away at it.
100%. Yeah, no, I'm really excited about this. I have a personal gripe against games that are this is a solo game, but it also plays every other player count. I'm like,
yeah,
no, don't do that to the solo game designers.
From 1 to 8 players, you're like, how did you balance that?
That's not a thing.
And the answer is they probably didn't.
No, not at all. So in this single player adventure game, there's 2 ways to play the game. You could play through the adventure book, which is a structured adventure that splits up into 20 to 60 minute missions, or you could play the island campaign, which is a randomized, complete campaign lasting around 3 hours.
Which is 3 hours is an insane amount of time, but I do like that it kind of gives you the option for a shorter game.
Yeah,
because 20 minutes to an hour, cool, you can get a full experience of that. Great, but then for the people who want to have this leave it on the table and play it out for a while, play it out for a whole day, that's really cool that they have that opportunity still.
Yeah, I like it too. And the thing that always worries me, though, Gloomhaven, after playing Gloomhaven for so long, is what is the setup and breakdown, especially for a solo game that has miniatures and an adventure mode.
Yeah,
because you are dealing with the AI here, so
yeah, there's going to be a lot of bookkeeping that you need to do for the enemies.
Sure,
but I feel I don't know if it doesn't seem like they're going this route, but I really liked the Jaws of the Lion.
Sure,
do it out of a book.
Yes,
it kind of cuts down on the generated levels.
Yes,
because you kind of need tiles for that.
Yes,
but it makes setup and breakdown so quick. So I feel like what they could do is if they did for the structured campaign. They had a book for it, so set up and tear down would be easy. And then if you wanted that random generation, you have the tiles to do that. Yeah,
so you have the island, which Laura is exploring, different locations on the island. You have your jungle scenes mostly, which has combats with beasts and protectors. If it wouldn't be a Lara Croft game if there weren't traps, which is kind of fun. What I really like about this more than anything else is that they have puzzles in it. And you have to do special actions and movement in order to kind of decode the different, traps and secret goals, which I like because when playing Gloomhaven, it's the same hack and slash endlessly. It's a very good hack and slash. It's probably one of the best hack and slashes out there, but it's the same thing over and over. So I like the fact that this kind of opens it up here. So
I like that as well.
Yeah, being able to do some research, being able to craft weapons. You have your own kind of player tableau where you get to build up your own personhood here. And then there's obviously bosses and monsters and miniatures and tokens as there always is.
And dinosaur expansion.
Of course, dude, you gotta have a dinosaur expansion. The complete game itself is $61 US, 45 euros. And if you want the full dinosaur expansion with the playmat and the upgraded dice and everything, it's going to cost you 155 US, 115 euros. And
Pounds.
Yeah, that seems to be where everyone's going. That seems to be, like you said, can you have Lara Croft without dinosaurs? I don't know, man.
But you know what, though? I feel like the price point, $60, is pretty good if you wanted like a bigger... Because like there aren't many options for like bigger solo games. Mm-hmm. So like if you are a solo gamer, I feel like that's a pretty solid price point if you wanted like a bigger experience.
Yeah. So I mean, again, this is currently on Kickstarter. A lot of cool miniatures here. Chris, you were mentioning the tableau build up. You get a lot of different outfits that Lara can wear.
Oh, yeah, they have outfit cards.
There you go.
Which I was like, okay,
I guess.
I guess. Like, of all the things, like, you have weapon cards, location, research, event cards, ability cards, and 12 outfit cards.
Nice.
I'm like, okay.
That's funny. So this campaign will run until Thursday, June 26, 2025. So it's already surpassed its backing goal. So, at the time of recording, you got about 27 days. So if you're interested, check it out. Tomb Raider, The Crypt of Chronos. Help Lara Croft save time. That's a thing. All right. Well, that leads us to our roll for review. Chris, you got to play an oldie but a goodie, but I guess a reborn version. What'd you play this week?
Yeah, so I got to play Mystic Vale Essential Edition.
Ooh, from 2020.
Yeah. So Mystic Vale, if you don't know, is a deck building game where instead of adding cards to your deck, you have these transparent cards that you can kind of layer over each other. So your deck size stays the same, but you're kind of like customizing the cards in your deck. There's a really fun push your luck element where you have these like corruption markers that are on certain cards, and you're going to keep drawing until you have like the max amount you're allowed. And then if you want, you can push further and draw more cards. But if you end up getting more of those symbols, you might bust. So it's a really cool little push your luck, nice, like cool deck building mechanics with the transparent cards. It's one of my favorite deck building games. And so the Essential Edition comes with the base game and the first 3 expansions in it. I feel like that alone gives you plenty of replay value. And my wife and I played that with a bunch of other expansions tacked on. It was great. We got to see a lot of really fun cards. We played with the expansion that has like level 4 upgrades that you can do. So we got to see some really weird, crazy abilities. Yeah. But yeah.
Card crafting. This was such a hot thing, and this was John DeClare's thing.
I feel like that's like something that he started, and he was the only one that did it for a while.
Yes. It's expanded a little bit, but obviously I think he's still first and foremost the person to do that. And I know we played a lot of his other games too that had, I think Custom Heroes was one of them, which was kind of the lighter version of this. And then there was that big, heavy, deluxe kind of version with the castle. I'm trying to remember the name off the top of my head. Edge of Darkness, that's it. I never got a chance to play it, unfortunately, but it was supposedly like the most kind of intense version of this. And then Mystic Vale was kind of like the in-between here. So it's like 2.5 or so on weight scale. I own a bunch of this too, and I really enjoyed this. I love the idea of crafting your cards up. That was a lot of fun.
It's funny. I like the card crafting in the game, and like it's definitely the biggest pull. It's such a good, unique mechanic in general. But honestly, I really like the push your luck part. I like you get a full hand, and there's no cards that say like draw an extra card, draw 2 cards. Like drawing is as much as you want until you bust, and you get to kind of like be like, if I just get that next card, if I just get that next card, and the top card of your deck is always visible.
Yes.
And so you always see what you could draw next, which is cool information to have when you're trying to draw cards, but also like they tantalize you, especially as you make like cooler cards, you start to add such powerful abilities, and you see at the top of your deck, you're like, if I can get that one extra card, I can buy like an extra Vale or another enhancement or get more victory points, and then you get it and you bust, or then you get it and you like get to combo off even more. It's a really cool idea.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it, and I think it's even better with the expansions.
Yeah, I think the expansions add a lot of really cool effects. There's some that even work with like trying to bust at the right time.
Yeah,
where like if this is on top of your deck when you bust, like you'll get to take an extra turn. You get 3 extra mana. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like there's reasons to like overdraw.
Yes, that's fun, and again, it really diversifies the game, and it needs that because you are certainly going to be in a situation where you're going to play the cards out, and then eventually you're not going to have that card crafting ability to like do cool and different things.
Yeah.
So, do you have a favorite expansion?
I think I don't remember the name of it. I like the one that adds leaders.
Yes.
So you get like one specific character that's added to your deck. It replaces like a blank card in your deck. Mm-hmm. And then you can pay mana to upgrade him. And I like that it kind of gives you this like guide on like how to build your deck.
Sure.
Some of them are a little bit stronger than others, which makes it a little bit more annoying to play sometimes. But I like if you don't know what you're doing in the game, like your leader will give you sort of like a route to follow.
Yeah, I think that was Vale of the Wild that gave you the. Yeah. I think there's like 8 or so leaders in that deck.
Yeah, and then there's also expansions that like so you have like a mana token that like can give you just like 1 extra mana, and then if you ever bust, it refreshes. Yeah. There's one expansion that takes those generic mana tokens away, and you get a unique power token for yourself.
Sure.
And most of them can like come back whenever you bust, or some of them are just like you have to pay mana to get them back, or you have to meet a special requirement. But they gave you like a bit more like asymmetry to your powers that you get to like again you get to build around something like that.
Yes. No, it's a great mechanic, and I've really enjoyed it. And I think Dead Reckoning is the most new version of this, but I haven't seen anyone else really take it up. I know it's a specific AEG kind of mechanic, but
yeah. Well, not really, because we were talking about Canvas before, and that's really not too far from it.
Not too far.
And granted, it's a lot lighter, and like you're building for different things, but the whole like card crafting to try to like get the most points out of it, and that you get from Canvas, it's like a mini version of what you get from Mystic Vale.
Yeah, it's kind of an end goal, kind of like creating that kind of contract, where this is kind of the deck building situation.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun, and I think it's something that a lot of people can play. I never felt that it was really hard, and there's not a lot of downtime on that game either, because it's just like boom, 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 and then you know what you have as far as costs are concerned because you built those cards up previously.
Yeah, like you get to like draw up when it's not your turn. So you already get to start planning when it's not your turn. The cards don't have like miles of text. Usually abilities are just like a sentence or two.
Yes.
A lot of the information is just really easy to read icons, like mana, just a blue circle.
Yes.
Corruption, red circle. Icons that fight against corruption, it's the same symbol, but it's green this time. You need elements to buy these Vale cards. Well, they come in 4 different flavors. And like it's really easy to navigate those.
Yes. It's a good system, and the Essential Edition's great because, again, it puts all those 3 expansions in one box.
Yeah, and it gives you the essential edition also comes with a playmat. It comes
Nice.
with like wooden tokens for you to track any symbols that you might need.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes like keeping an eye on all those cards a little bit easier.
Excellent. So, Chris, I'm assuming because you bought this is a buy you would recommend for everybody.
Yeah, I would really, if you're looking for a deck builder, like if you started off with like Dominion, if you started off with like DC deck building or like any of those like
Legendary.
entry legendary, yeah,
Yeah.
any of those like entry level deck building games, you want to kind of like take another step into deck building. I think Mystic Vale is definitely a cool way to go.
Excellent.
It's also one of those things that you could like show people to be like, hey, you thought you knew board games, but look at this, and just like layer two transparent cards, be like you made a new card. It's like, oh,
Yeah, and the artwork
it's like
the artwork's very cool too. I like it.
yeah. I just that's the one thing I wish the artwork was a little bit bigger.
Sure. But it's also a different theme too. It's you're talking about life versus corruption here, and there's not
hmm
like shooting monsters, superhero kind of thing. It's
No, I like that it is just generic fantasy,
yeah,
but because the theme is just kind of all mixed together, you get a really wide variety of like this fantasy.
yes.
Some cards are just dragons, some cards are just fairies, some cards are just like I think one card was just like sunrise, and that's it.
That's
It's just
it.
like a picture. It's just a picture of a hill with the sun coming over it, and it's like it's a lot of very like shallow fantasy theming, but it's nice that it's not the main focus of the game. Like it
Hmm.
just kind of is there to help kind of keep things going. The Veil cards that you buy are these like cards that don't go into your deck to kind of build up passive
Mm-hmm.
abilities, and those have these like beautiful panoramic pictures. Like
Yes.
those shine a lot more than the art on the cards do.
Yeah. So again, if you had someone play Canvas and they want to level up a little bit, this would be nice. If you have someone played
Yeah.
who likes the artwork on Innis, this obviously kind of falls in
Oh yeah.
that same line. So yeah, this is a lot of fun. Thanks for bringing this up, Chris, because I haven't played this in a while, and now I want to break it out because it's really fun and fast. And like you said,
Yeah.
it's a very unique game experience with the card crafting, but the press your luck.
hmm
We talked about Flip 7 last week, and this is kind of like even a better version of it because you built what might blow up in your face at some point.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, you have all the agency because like you can never start. Most of the time, you can never really start your turn by busting. You have
yes,
to choose to push through your luck for
yes,
that.
exactly. All right. Well, that's our roll for review. Now on to our feature review. The voice of gamers here this week is our good friend Chris, and we are talking about the top 10 games on everyone's shelf, of course, according to BGG. So, Chris, we're going to go through the top 10 here and take a look about what everyone's actually owning there in the hobby game industry. A lot of times we get asked, what are the essential games that you should add to your collection or you should have part of your collection? And a lot of times, what are the Hall of Fame? What are the great games that everyone should have? It's a good idea to know generally what's out there, what's, people's shelves as far as what could be the next step game for them. Like if they own, if you assume they own these games, there's probably other games you could kind of level them up to. And then also get a sense of like, what are people playing out there? What do people love to do? And I know that you use a lot of games in your capacity working with communities. These games probably have gotten into your hands and then out into the community as far as like they fit everybody.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of games here that like these are great games. There's a reason why so many people own them. It's because they're like accessibility, playtime, cost, like all of it lends itself to people just picking them up and having them in the collection.
All right. Well, start off, Chris. We got our number 10 here. Not a big surprise. It's a game where you get to collect trains and choose your routes to fulfill your destination. It's Ticket to Ride, Chris, from 2004.
Yeah, I'm happy to see Ticket to Ride here because it is a staple game. I feel like whenever people start jumping into the hobby, Ticket to Ride is one of those games that people are like, "Oh, I just saw this at my local store and I grabbed a copy."
Yeah, I don't think I personally own. I actually don't own a copy of Ticket to Ride. My sister does. I have the apps with Ticket to Ride because I want to. The one that I always wanted to pick up was the Pennsylvania Britain, because it has stocks and it has a couple of other things to it, which
also like almost like borders. It's like trying to like dip a little bit into like cube rails or 18xx.
100%. It's just a pinky toe into it, and I just never got around to pick it up. But again, I played it a lot. I played it a couple of days ago, in fact, online. So it's a great game. Ticket to Ride.
Yeah, so I had a copy of Ticket to Ride Europe years ago, but I've got rid of it. I don't have it in my collection, but my sister has it, and my nephews play it pretty often, and they have Ticket to Ride New York. So it's the nice like smaller box versions they've come out with.
You're correct. That's a good one because I actually do have the New York one. I did pick up that small version of it.
You lied.
I did. I didn't consider that as a Ticket to Ride, but I guess it is.
Yeah, it is. It's like the pocket version of Ticket to Ride.
It's not the Ticket to Ride.
No, it's not the Ticket to Ride.
Yeah, it's a little baby version of it. Mm-hmm.
Like if we weren't doing top 10, we were doing top 12, we would also be talking about Ticket to Ride Europe. So like it's crazy to me that Ticket to Ride and Europe are both on this list pretty high up.
Sure, 100%. All right, well that leads us to our number 9, and ironically, this is our game for our book club next week, Terraforming Mars. Compete with CEOs to make Mars habitable and build up your corporate empire. Chris, come on. You want to build up a corporate empire. Come on, I know you do.
I haven't built my corporate empire yet.
Oh,
no.
Man.
I need to get Terraforming Mars to the table. I've never played it before. I think the reason is like just the art really threw me off when I first saw it. But like, and I have plenty of other games that are like large deck games. Like I have Wingspan, I have Earth,
sure.
I've got Everdell. Like there's plenty of games I have that are like in this area. So Terraforming Mars really has never hit the table for me.
Terraforming Mars, I think, is different in the way that it allows for very dramatic gameplay elements, because when you're able to accomplish to build one of the bigger cards, it's dramatic because the terraforming rating of the planet is rising because you have to raise the oxygen and the heat and the water, the ocean content of Mars. And then you play a card that's like you drop a comet on Mars and it raises a bunch of things. And you're like, oh, it's cool. Or like you'll get a card that allows you to benefit off, I don't know, certain grasslands and certain animals, and now you're collecting multiple things each turn. So it's really fun, and you fight over Mars as far as like controlling and benefiting off zones on that planet. It's kind of area control, but not in some ways. Okay. So you're scoring points off Mars based on what you put out there, but some things benefit other people as well. It's really fun. I own Terraforming Mars, all the expansions, I think, with the exception of Prelude 2. And that's what I would recommend for you, Chris. If you're going to play Terraforming Mars, or if you ever decide to buy it, you always want to purchase it or play it with Prelude.
So that's what I was actually going to ask.
Yeah.
So you're saying, so I've heard a lot, it's like almost mandatory for Terraforming
100%
Mars.
Mandatory for playing Terraforming Mars. The other expansions, you do not have to play.
So would you be as excited about Terraforming Mars if it wasn't for Prelude?
Yes. There's a couple of rules in the back of the book of Terraforming Mars that you have to really consider. One is drafting. One is every round, one of the terraforming markers, like oxygen, will move up. Mm-hmm. So it kind of moves the game along. Because, Chris, it is possible that someone just builds up their tableau and is not building towards a terraforming Mars, and the game could take hours. So Prelude is kind of like a quick boost early in the game. So that's all Prelude is. It's like, here's some extra stuff to start with that you normally don't have.
So you start like mid-game power level instead of just like with bare bones.
100%, yeah. Okay, because Terraforming Mars, when you draft or you get cards in your hand, you're going to have cards that you're not going to be able to play initially, but Prelude lets you play a lot of those cards. so you don't have a dead hand for like 2 or 3 turns.
Okay.
So, highly recommended. Terraforming Mars. All right, Chris, we kind of talked about this one a little bit. Number 8 here, Seven Wonders. The hot take here is that it's not number 7, Chris.
Yes. I don't think anybody's actually surprised to see Seven Wonders on this list. It's been everywhere for so long at this point.
Yeah.
It's been, 2010 it came out, and I feel like the fact that it's still sold in so many stores, it's your entry-level, like, family, like, drafting game. What I'm actually surprised is, so me myself, like, I used to own Seven Wonders.
Yes.
I don't anymore, because I bought Sushi Go, and I feel like I never went back.
You're like, I don't need these civilizations. I could just make a really cute, adorable little sushi platter with googly eyes.
You know what it is? It's like, okay, Seven Wonders is, I think, a great way to do, like, drafting 101.
Yeah.
Because it's all it is. It's a clean game, no frills. Like, your turn is, you have a hand of cards, you pick one, you pass it. There's nothing else you're doing. There's, like, at the end of every age, you compare your combat to the person next to you, but, like, you know, like, your actions are take a card, pass.
Yes.
But I feel like after you do that for a game or two, I just don't want to take a card and pass anymore. I want to do more things.
Yes.
Even with, like, I've played with the Leaders and Cities expansion, and even then I played and I was like, no, you know what, I had enough. Like, it's too long for what you're doing. And I think it's great to play it at first, but I think afterwards you just kind of outgrow it really quickly.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Seven Wonders has been one of my favorite games of all time. I own Seven Wonders. I own Seven Wonders, the second edition. I bought the insert for the original Seven Wonders and bought the coins for the original Seven Wonders. That's how much I liked it. And hadn't done that with any other game, at least initially. Obviously, now it's a different story. And then Seven Wonders Duel is amazing. The Lord of the Rings version of it's even better. And
I haven't played it yet.
It's so good. It's so much better.
I have it. It's sitting there on my shelf.
Oh, no. And then, what's the other thing, too? Seven Wonders Architects is the baby version.
Yeah,
it's a very simplistic kind of version of Seven Wonders. But like you said, Chris, the card drafting, there's been a lot of card drafters. It's probably the best, if not the best. The tableau building is fun. Like you said, it's a new experience for people. Card drafting, tableau building, that's the two mechanics that really come into play. And I like the idea of dealing with these ancient civilizations and building them up. And I think I own all the. I don't know if I own all the expansions. I think I own all.
Do you have Armada? I think Armada was the last expansion that came out for it, right?
The second edition redid the expansions, and I'm trying to remember. They redid. I think it's the Babel expansion. They did differently.
Oh my god, I forgot. That's the Babel expansion. Nobody liked.
It had the major projects that you had to build towards at the same time. It kind of complicated the game a little much. But it's still one of my favorite games, and obviously it's owned by everybody here, pretty much here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that leads us up until, I guess, another not big surprise, or it could be a big surprise. We did 10, 9, 8. Number 7, where Seven Wonders should be, it is Wingspan. Attract a beautiful and diverse collection of birds in your wildlife preserve. Chris, do you own Wingspan?
I think I own everything on Wingspan right now.
Ooh.
I haven't played it in a while, and I feel like I sort of kind of regret getting the big box. I know my wife does.
The nesting box?
Yeah.
I've heard that.
I think it's not the Scythe Legendary box bag.
Okay.
But it's too big for the amount of content that out.
Oh, wow.
Now.
Okay.
I know the idea is that it will hold all of it once it's all come out.
Yeah.
But at this point, it came out, 2019? It's 2025 right now, and there are still plenty of continents they haven't done, and they haven't said when they're going to be released. So as far as I'm concerned, this is a half-empty box. Wow. But Wingspan itself, I love. I think is a great tableau builder. Is it the best in the world? No. I think that falls to Race for the Galaxy. But I think Wingspan is a great tableau builder with a fun theme. It's not the fact that it's just like, oh, it's birds, but it's the fact that it's a very different theme than most other games. And I think that's kind of why it got so much popularity.
Yeah, it was an amazing game when it first came out, and it was just it was, I don't know. I mean, it revolutionized the industry. I mean, I think bird lovers. I don't know if Stonemaier Games really knew what they had on their hands when they released this, but it was just, it blew up. It was everywhere. Everybody was playing it. I own this. I think I have 2 of the expansions. I have Europe and Oceania on this, but I don't have the nesting box, and I think
or Asia.
I don't have the Asia expansion on that.
Asia expansion was interesting because it came with what was called like duet mode, where like it's meant for like to be a standalone 2-player Wingspan that you can buy, or you can mix it all together. And the 2-player mode, I feel like, just wasn't as good as just playing Wingspan by itself as 2 players.
I do think this is another game you need to play with the expansions. I'll agree too. Also with Seven Wonders, which we just talked about, I think with Cities and Leaders, you could play with the other expansions too, but Cities and Leaders are a given for Seven Wonders. I think with Wingspan, you at the very least need the European expansion.
Yeah, I agree. I think European expansion should just be
100%
what you get. Yeah, like how you said, Terraforming Mars needs Prelude. I think Wingspan needs European expansion. It's fine without it. I don't think it's it's a bad game without it, but you feel like there's something missing. And the cards in the European expansion kind of flesh that out, and they also give you more interesting abilities in the cards.
Yeah, I think the original Wingspan had some broken combos in it, which we know about now.
That's true.
Because I used to fill my board, and then somebody would have a 2-card combo and just tuck cards endlessly. And you're just like, well, that was fun.
I think now they have a rebalanced board where you get different benefits. There's different egg costs, and so now you can't just fill the board as easily. It's still possible, but then you also have the wild food tokens that you can use, and there's a few extra elements.
Yeah, and the European expansion had those mid round or in between round effects, which kind of opened the game up a lot more too. So
and then later on they added end of game effects, and so they've been kind of exploring a bit more in that space, which has been nice.
No, Elizabeth Hargrave did a great job, and it's still incredibly popular. I guess because of Wormspan and Thinspan, that's probably why you haven't seen a finishing up of that.
I feel like Wormspan, as much as I didn't enjoy the game too much compared to Wingspan, I enjoyed the theme.
Yeah.
And Finspan, I am way more into fish than I am for birds. But even then, I feel like I've been spanned out.
Oh
no! I feel like instead of seeing Wormspan and Finspan, I would rather see them do Wingspan and Antarctica. Wingspan, finish the continents, finish the content you want to do for Wingspan, instead of having it pushed years and years and years, and then you're sitting here with a half-empty nesting box being told he'll fit everything, but then I'll be like, I guess my children will finish everything because I won't be alive around to see it.
I hear you. All right, well, that leads us to number 6 here, and not a terrible surprise here that this is on the list. This is definitely a little bit of a smaller game, and this is Azul. Artfully embellish the tiles of your palace by drafting the most beautiful tiles in the box.
I'm incredibly happy to see Azul here. It's the first game my wife and I played when we met. I think it was probably one of the best abstract games to have come out in quite a while. It's kind of like what made things like Ticket to Ride and other staple games we'll talk about later on, is the fact that there's no frills to it. It's a very clean game. The rules are simple, aesthetically very pleasing. Yeah, I feel like Azul is such a great game. Definitely, I'm happy to see that so many people are playing it.
Is the Azul the actual... this edition, the 2017, the original edition, is that your favorite Azul?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's 3-4 Azuls that are out now.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it's 4.
So Yeah, because it's Athul, then it's
Glu-
the Stained Glass of
mm-hmm.
Sintra.
Is it Queen's
There's
Garden?
Queen's Garden, and is there another one?
There's a new one that
Oh, Athul Duel.
the 2-player one. Yeah.
Yeah, Athul Duel. Yeah. So I feel like out of all of those, and I've played almost all of them. Uh, Base Athul, I think, still really does it. Um, there there is an expansion for
Mm-hmm.
it, which I think is all right. It's okay. I don't think it's really that necessary.
Yeah.
If you can grab the promo shop tiles, I think that's worth it.
Sure.
And I think the chocolate version
Yes.
of Athul comes with that expansion kind of built
Yeah.
in.
The
So if you were going to grab,
chocolatier. Yeah.
yeah, if you're going to grab any version of Athul, I would recommend the chocolatier version
Okay.
because it comes with shops that you can vary the abilities on them.
Nice.
So it kind of gives it a bit more of a dynamic game. And it's the same exact game as regular Thule, just with a bit more variable stuff to it, which is always nice.
Yeah, whatever version you get, you want to get the one where it has the plastic overlay so that the tiles don't move around. Which
well, you know what? I feel like I never had that problem.
Okay.
Actually, no, I did. No, I lied. I did have a problem, and I brought an acrylic.
Did you?
Shop. Yeah, that's why I never had the problem because I remember we got that very early on.
Yeah. Yeah, that.
But there's also a Thule Mini, which I think comes. Yeah, a Thule Mini is the same game as a Thule, but it comes with an overlay and everything to make sure your pieces don't slide off.
And there was also that giant $300 version, the big one that came in like a little tiny suitcase.
Oh my god, yes! Yeah. I secretly wish I had it.
Oh, secretly? I'll openly admit that I wish I had that.
Yeah, right. It looks so cool, aesthetically, just really amazing to see.
Yes. All right, well, that leads us to our number 5, Chris. Give your team clever one-word clues to help them spot their agents in the field. This is Codenames from 2015.
Yeah. I gotta say, this is probably Vlada Chvátil's greatest game he's ever made. It's crazy to me that he came up with this idea out of nowhere. He just really popped it out of nowhere, and it's become a huge hit.
Yeah, I think I own Codenames. I have Codenames pictures. I think I actually might have the large version of one too. I think the Codenames Duet, I think it's called.
Yeah.
So
I have Codenames and Codenames Duet.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite. The Duet's my favorite version of it.
Yeah. I've also played the Codenames Harry Potter, which is pretty much just the Duet, just rethemed.
Yes. They have Disney, they have Blizzard, they really
there are so many.
They did a monopoly with it. They did
a monopoly Codenames.
Well, no, I'm saying they
No, I know, I'm joking.
Let's hope now. Let's keep Monopoly away from everything else out there, but
I feel like this was a really cool mix of how to make a party game into a modern board game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of different. Obviously, a lot of these are word-based, so there's a lot of different language editions. Guess how many editions if you include all the different languages, Chris?
Oh, all the languages and all the
large ones, the crazy. Yep.
Yeah. Let's go in the 50s?
72.
Jesus.
72 people. I will say I think the Duet's the best because I think when I play Codenames, there's so much downtime waiting.
Mm-hmm.
For the clue or waiting for, that's the only thing that I get a little bummed out with Codenames. But, it's a lot of fun. It's a staple, obviously. All right, Chris, this is going to be a little bit of a surprise here because we just talked about something very similar. We just talked about this recently. It's the head-to-head version of Seven Wonders. It's our number 4 game that everyone owns, Seven Wonders Duel.
I'm not surprised it's on here because Seven Wonders Duel was my favorite game. It was my number 1 game for plenty of years. I love this game. Yeah, it's great. I would say it's one of the best 2-player games you can play.
Why this and not Seven Wonders? What did it do that for you? What's the difference here?
I want to start this off with. I feel like oddly we've been saying this a lot, and I feel like maybe we should look into this later on. But you need the Pantheon expansion for Seven Wonders Duel. It's another game that I feel like needs an expansion. So I feel like the card drafting is just more interesting than Seven Wonders Duel. You just need 2 people, so it's easier to get to the table. I like the different win conditions, and I think that is one of the coolest things in Seven Wonders.
Yeah.
That you have these like instant win conditions that are not like terribly easy to get, but they're always a threat and they're always kind of looming around. And so you always have to take these into consideration. And then there's one of the expansions, Agora, adds another win condition that you can put into the mix.
Yes. And it's a tug of war game, which I really like.
Yeah.
And and Chris, when you play the Lord of the Rings version, it takes out all the point counting and just has 3 tug of war conditions.
Oh, that's really cool. Oh, so that's great because I feel like the point counting was kind of the weakest element of the game. It's kind of why I liked when it the gods that they added in Pantheon, the Senate board that they added in Agora. I feel like I liked a lot of that, especially the Agora one, because it made the point cards have a more of an effect.
Yes.
So knowing that like they just kind of did out with all those cards in Lord of the Rings version, that sounds pretty cool.
Seven Wonders you have to calculate like how much stone does your opponent have as far as the cost. Here you don't have to worry about that. So
that's cool. Actually, I did like that though. I did like if you want a resource, like your opponent is essentially like taxing you on if you want to pay for whatever you're missing.
Gotcha. All right, well, leads us to our number 3. We're getting to the classics here, my friends. Do you want to shape the medieval landscape of France, claiming cities, monasteries, and farms? It's going to be Carcassonne, Chris.
Carcassonne. I actually am surprised it's number 3 because I feel like I would have guessed this would have been number 1.
Oh, okay.
Because I know for quite a number of years Carcassonne was like the most sold game in Germany.
Wow.
Like pretty consistently up till recently. So I thought Carcassonne would have been number 1.
Well, to be fair, Chris, if you count all the language editions, again, I'm going to ask you for a number here. How many versions do you think there might be here?
Okay, it was 72 last time. I'm going to go 40?
143. A lot of languages out there, not to mention all the expansions, because there's a lot of expansions.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was saying that's crazy to me because there's no words in Carcassonne, so the language edition should be similar.
Now, if you count the expansions, which sometimes the expansions are just a single tile, I'm not.
In BoardGameGeek, they also have a lot of fan expansions as well. Yeah.
I'm not going to torture you here with numbers, Chris. 189.
Oh my god.
So Carcassonne, man.
So I know this has been a common theme, is us saying like you need this expansion. I actually would say Carcassonne, you don't need any expansion.
Nice.
I think Carcassonne just by itself, perfectly fine.
Yes.
If you wanted to pick something up, the first 2 expansions are great. They add just enough for you to add a little bit more spice into the game, but honestly, base Carcassonne, perfectly fine on its own.
No, I agree. I
play this. I still play this constantly.
I only have one Carcassonne version. Only have one Carcassonne game, no expansions, and it's the Carcassonne that's shaped like a meeple.
Oh, that's really cute. I
picked it up used somewhere, and it was like banged up, and I was just like, do I want a bang up version? Because again, I don't want a bang up version, but like it's adorable. I got to pick it up. So like that.
I have the version that comes with the River and Abbott
mini
expansion, which I think now has become the standard box they sell. They used to be separate things, and now they used to be like promos, and now they just come with those by default. And I feel like that is just enough that you need in the game.
Excellent. All right, well, this is us to our number 2, and of course, your number 2. You're a team of experts. Must prevent the world from succumbing to a viral pandemic. Where were you in 2019, people? This is Pandemic, the board game from 2008.
I'm really surprised this is number 2.
Yes.
I think this is my most surprising one.
It's quite of a thing. I don't own a copy of Pandemic. I do own a couple of games that use the Pandemic mechanisms, but not Pandemic itself.
Yeah. I've got Pandemic's Legacy Season 1 done. Like, we finished it. Pandemic Season 2, I think we got about a third of the way through, and then we just kind of abandoned that.
Sure.
And then I've got Pandemic Iberia, which I gotta say, probably the best version of Pandemic. And then Pandemic Rapid Response, which is just a fun real-time game that's got Pandemic slapped onto
Gotcha.
it.
Yeah, no, I know that we've talked about a lot of games in the classroom over the years, and surprisingly, Pandemic, again, it's one of the, it's not the original co-op, but I think it's one of the biggest co-ops, or it's known to be one of the biggest co-ops out there. A lot of alpha gamer problems with it, and it's basically a puzzle, and you can get knocked out relatively early if the cards are mean to you, but it's a favorite. It works quite well.
So this is actually, looking at it now, it's the only co-op game on this top 10. Like you can play Codenames Duet.
Sure.
It doesn't say this is just Codenames Regular on
just
this
Codenames
list.
Regular. Yeah.
So I feel like, I guess this would be like the most popular co-op game. Like popular just by like sheer number.
100%.
Yeah, so I guess that's why it's there. It's the co-op game that everybody can kind of sink their teeth into.
Yeah, according to BoardGameGeek, 215,057 copies are owned. Again, this is people who have gone into BoardGameGeek and have said that they own a copy of it. So
which kind of like, this gets more into the conversation of like, are these the 10 top like owned games, because there's no chess, there's no checkers.
There's millions of versions of this, but I think this gives us a good sample size, and I think it's pretty trustworthy because, again, BoardGameGeek is so big, and these are significant numbers in comparison to
but these are like top 10 hobby board games.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not having people who are like logging their games of like Candyland.
No,
or, I have a deck of cards, so I have a copy of War at home. Like, no one's logging these things.
This is the hobby. This is a hobby list. This is our games at the table. And Chris, that leads us to the number one game that's owned, according to BoardGameGeek, with 223,489. Obviously, a lot more than that, but for a very good sample size, Chris, you're going to collect trade resources to build up the island of Catan in this modern classic. It's Catan!
What can this game be?
It's Catan! Or it's Settlers of Catan, or formerly known as Settlers of Catan.
Yes. I'm not surprised by all this. I'm not even slightly surprised to see this up here.
Ironically, Chris, I do not own a copy of this.
Really?
I think I have a digital version of it, but I don't own the board game. I don't know how that happened.
So I've got an old edition of Catan with, I think, like the first 3-4 expansions, because we used to have like a constant Catan game night that went on at my house. So I bought all the expansions. We used to play it all the time. And then over time, I kind of came across a copy of Rivals of Catan, which is like the 2-player like card game version of it. But I haven't touched my copy of Catan in maybe like a decade. Like, at this point, it's more of a like a game that I keep for nostalgia.
Yes.
But Rivals of Catan I actually do enjoy a lot. I think that's a pretty cool game with a lot of interesting mechanics to it.
Gotcha. All right. Well, there you are, everybody. The top 10 owned tabletop games that are on everyone's shelves, according to BGG. Again, great games. If you don't have these games, good games to add to your collection, good games to know that everyone has in their collections, more or less. And just a lot of fun getting those games to the table. Chris, thank you for all your help this week. Really appreciate it. And until next time, this is Chris.
And this is Chris.
And we'll save you all a seat at the table. Take care, everybody.
See ya.
Hey there, I'm Hugh from Moderation. If you like today's episode, why not check out the next session? Your D&D Agony Aunt's there to answer all of your questions. Join Adam and Alyssa as they answer questions sent in by listeners like you about how to solve the problems that come with running and playing in all sorts of different tabletop scenarios. Available wherever you get your podcasts.